I'll call this Ordinance Committee for October 14, 2025 to order. All members of council, except for Mr. Myers, present, and present for administration are Mr. Kramer, Mr. Mayor Overstreet, Chief Basic, Chief Warner, and Building Officer Mr. Min. I'd like to skip to item number 4 on our agenda tonight. We have Mr. Jeremy Eosu here, and he'll present about the policy CMA update. Mr. Eosu? Thanks for coming down.
With introduction, my name is Jeremy Eosu, labor and employment attorney, represent the city, so I'm actually also in the process of negotiating all collective bargaining agreements as well, so in the past year. I do also know all these characters sitting over here. Chief, hope you guys might know me in this field. So the purpose of tonight is to begin discussions about the personnel policy manual. So I expect that all of you have read the whole thing already. So the policy manual has been work in progress for quite a while. I'm working with Carol Ann for a little while. Actually got started back when that's when it was still around. Had a few thousand starts me on that. But we got through it, worked pretty well together. Finally got to the point where we're ready to adopt the manual. And we don't always do legislative approval for policy manuals that are often just administratively adopted. Carol Ann and myself felt that this particular situation would have some formality and that the mayor and the board and all those kind of things. It might be helpful to have it back through legislation as opposed to just administratively adopting it. So to that end, what I was presenting to you folks for discussion. Obviously, I don't expect you've read much of any of it at this point. And I talked to Mr. Gully earlier today to kind of give you guys a rundown of what I kind of presented and try to take that 139 pages that are in there, actually one of the shorter ones that I have, and get it down to the kind of bite-sized chunks for you and let you know where to focus your attention. Obviously, if you need help sleeping or anything at night, you can do the whole thing. That being said, there are particular areas where I think you can focus some areas that you can pretty much not look at all unless you choose to, and some areas that kind of types of things that you can look at, but not absolutely necessary. I want to make sure you can focus on the particular areas that make the most sense. And speaking with Mr. Gully earlier today, we kind of talked through a timeline of being able to adopt this by January 1st. We had this initial discussion 2 weeks from today. I was concerned to answer any questions after you read through some of the sections, and take any of your comments, and then maybe some adjustments that we made after that. And then following that, I think we would have 3 meetings in November and the beginning of December to do 3 readings on it. Having adopted, put it in place January 1st. And then I generally want the policy manual adopted through training for both the department heads and to all of the employees. Sort of general training, if nothing else, to present, make people aware that it's available, have all the employees sign up so that they receive a read a copy of it. And then, because there are certain requirements of doing training on harassment and FMLA, usually tie that into it, not convert it out with one stone. Get all that wrapped up, and then people can ask questions and understand things. But I do a slightly different presentation for the department heads and I think for the employees, and then allow people to ask questions and have them follow from there. So what I've given you tonight, this memo here, should help you be able to focus on particular areas where your input could be needed and appreciated, and where you might see where things are shaking out. So the first list I have, policies to review closely, are policies that are not really boilerplate. They're pretty customized to the city, like based upon what practices have been, what previous policies have been, the way we want to operate, getting feedback from all the department heads on the way we want things to operate. So things like the equipment, use cell phones, backup environment, social media, things like that are things that can get as much input as we can and enough people looking at it as possible. Then section 2 are sort of more of your legally required policies and or some policies that you already have in ordinance form that would be things that you don't really need to take that much to look at other than your own desire to know what the policies are. So things like the EEO policy, cybersecurity policy, FMLA, disability accommodations, those basically all track what federal or state laws are to make sure the department heads have guidance. If you have somebody who has a disability, tells the employee how to request an accommodation for that, tells the department how to handle those requests, what forms to use, So that's not to say you can't look at those or do anything with those, just to say there's not going to be much deviation. And then section 3 would be policies that you can take a look at would be as necessary. So recruitment policies, how we go about advertising positions and interviewing positions. Maybe what compensation policies are, conditions of employment, discipline. So the whole section 8 is about disciplinary action. How we take it, what grounds there are for discipline. And discipline is a good example of something that I used to, when I'm doing the trainings, when I teach anybody like you, kind of explain the difference between collective bargaining agreement and policy manual and or how they work together. Sometimes you have employees with collective bargaining agreements, sometimes think that I have a collective bargaining agreement, I don't have to provide that policy, which isn't the case at all. But there's a direct conflict, like policy manual says you get 5 weeks of vacation, your collective bargaining agreement says you get 6, collective bargaining agreement is something like discipline would be an area where contract requires you to have just cause, policy manual actually helps you to establish that cause. Especially around being those companies and being so all those things work together, and those have all been kind of customized to work in conjunction with your collective bargaining agreement, what the current policies are, things like that. Like I said, I want to break that down into basically thirds. Third of the manual is something that you guys should have to take a look at, that I have listed there. Third is something that would require you to take time to look at it all. And then third of it is probably recommend taking the next, see how things go. We have questions or comments, so happy to hear them. And so I think the thought would be to allow the next 2 weeks for you guys to review the policies that I've specified. Come back in 2 weeks, ask me any cost questions, make any comments, have any thoughts. We need to do from there, and from that point, make any adjustments that we need to make. And that's where you can be reviewing the meeting about.
Yeah, so you for November 11th, actually, 4 weeks, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be 4 weeks from now, we'll do the fine tuning.
Okay, so yeah, so it's 11.
Through the 25th, and then the first week, then we have a tuning in December, so you still get every week. That's what, yeah.
Yeah, so we have an extra 2 weeks.
Right.
Sure.
But any questions, we can handle anything. Just before any other questions or from anyone else, just to let the record reflect, Mr. Myers is president and Chanel, the administration is not president. So thank you, Mr. Sue.
No problem. And then from that point, I'd be happy to answer any kind of questions you might have at this point. And then happy to address any of the type or next time we meet. If there are no questions tonight, that's fine as well. And then we reconvene for some sure that there will be questions that I can address for you. And certainly if you want to address any questions prior to then, email, we'll be there. Answer any questions as well. And then I can ask you to get the rest of this cleaned up, and then the rest of the menu after we have to review.
Jeremy Spurs been doing labor in the wall for a while, and they do a lot of HR support, so he knows what to do.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I said, with an HR director prior to coming up, lawyer, so I have a lot of HR background prior to this. And I'm also a law director, so I have a pretty good handle on the inner workings of municipal government.
Well, for just the first 3 minutes, it's not like Mr. Smith, you have any extra questions for that? No. Okay. Any other members of council have any questions for Ms. Dixon? Everyone's comfortable with the process and what they're not doing? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Erson, for your time, for being here, and we'll be in touch.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be with you guys in a few weeks, and Caroline, the rest of you guys will probably see you pretty soon.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
Then move back up to item 1 on the agenda, discussion on, continuing the discussion on e-bike, gas powered scooters ordinances. Mr. Kramer sent out the, we're going to share a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I think in my email last meeting, I just updated you guys that Little Wick decided they were satisfied with theirs. I took a little bit of time to try to compare what we had as far as I'm really confident that our ordinance was on mine or updated. Yeah, but they seem pretty similar. I know these classes or divisions or whatever they are, like that changed. But we can always continue the discussion to see how you want to go. Willow decided to stick with what they have.
biggest thing, Council Senate has sent out a, example. Yeah, I think the example of what Myra was doing, I think the education part of it is, regardless of what we do, I think that's gonna need to be a key element to it. And yeah, whether it's e-bike, gas-powered bike, scooters, micro mobility devices, I don't think when people are purchasing those, they're really paying attention to kind of what the laws are with them. Like, I think as long as our ordinances kind of cover everything, the education part will be kind of the bigger push that we need to do.
Any questions for Mr. Cameron, Chief?
So I know I saw what I can send out on our Timberlake also put out a sheet out. So is there someone here that can produce that, or we can have one that fits really easily?
Fairly easy to do. I'm not against plagiarizing.
Yeah. Like that, throw them right over it.
Yeah,
Our pastor, that's the third time it's yours, so.
Yeah, I can look at that.
Any other questions? Any questions from our other council now?
So just real quick, I agree about the educational aspect of it. When I first brought this up, I honestly didn't know the current laws as much as I should have, I suppose, in regards to e-bikes and everything. And noticing, the amount of kids and whatnot that are using them and without helmets on the streets and everything. I think if we tie our educational campaign along with the other cities and keep everybody updated on what the current laws are, because apparently even with the class 3 scooter, you have to wear a helmet, which I don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle. So
Right.
I want to make sure that our residents make that connection, especially at Christmas time, when parents and whatnot will be buying these things for the kids.
Yeah, so we put the word out now, but do a push in the springtime, the weather warms back up to really put the word out.
That can even be an amazing social though, is you figure on your wish list, and remember you need this, and, so I think you can really find it.
Yeah, so it's safety first.
Yeah.
There you go. We're small businesses, they're selling these,
Right.
put the word out there too.
As far as changing the ordinance, I don't know if you want to if you see anything, let me know. And I'm supposed to be an expert on which class, like, class 1, class 2, class 3. So if you have any changes. I thought we were trying to keep it similar to Little Wick, in case somebody's riding along the line street from Little Wick, or anything, violating the law, and just some stuff.
Yeah, make a suggestion, Walmart being the largest retailer here in the city, you guys are coming out with a sheet with the laws and requirements and things, perhaps work with Walmart. Every time you sell one, you give one to whoever purchased it. I don't think, I think that'll go a long way.
I have a question, Chief. This isn't really as far as e-bike, but there's been a real big uptick in they call them midget bikes, really little tiny bikes. They're technically supposed to be riding them off the street, but they're not. They're riding them on the sidewalk and they're riding them on the street as well. Is that just an enforcement thing? Like we're supposed to call you when this is happening? Because, you can't see them. I certainly for my Jeep, when they're right next to me, you cannot see them.
Yeah, I think technically those fall into those micro mobility devices. Yeah. Kind of when you look at the ORC and how they define even the class 1, 2, and 3, and the micro mobility, it all depends on how fast they go, how big they are. But yeah, that would mainly be more an enforcement thing. Regardless of how it's defined, if you're on the roadway, you still have to follow the rules of the roadway.
Right.
You still have stop sign, you still have to be able to do everything else. Yeah, that's something we need to be called on. For us to be able to do something about it.
They're most of the gas ones, yeah. And back in my day, was the street legal or not? And if it was gonna be on the street, you had to go to class, you had to have a license, and it's really not like that now. So it's almost like, as they things are progressing, everything's getting out of whack, and everybody's just getting them, and they're getting really pervasive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, they're fast, and they're riding everywhere. So it's just, and they have no idea it's a lot. I mean, you could see 20 of them on Waverly per day.
So does anyone see any need for changing the ordinances at this time, other than the education side of the
I think we need to get the word out, involved with the ordinances and the rules are to see if that.
So if that's okay, then have a motion to, remove this from the agenda for next time, then we can get it back any time. But we'll just remove it by the next time, that's okay. Thank you. So, yeah, we'll remove that from the agenda for next meeting. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, then, we had discussed, began a discussion on nuisance properties, and, we heard a little bit from Mr. Min last time, but, Chief Warner, if you would like to share some of the nuisance perspective on.
Yeah, I know, Councilman Kraniak had sent a, Lakewoods, nuisance abatement ordinances, and that primarily deal with listed criminal offenses. There are a couple of building department or property offenses in that. I think the original information we got was like a lot more inclusive of a lot more stuff. This is a lot more pared down. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It would just be kind of defining how we would want to go about enforcing it.
And what is a nuisance? A nuisance to you may not be a nuisance to Karen or a nuisance to someone else. And I'm running into that case right now. And nuisance is just for one person, no one else.
And at what point does the person complaining becomes a nuisance then when they complain about it?
And that applies as well, just so you know. It does apply on both sides of it, because we have several cases where both sides go after each other, and now the police are out 10 times a year for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Let's just not the police. We're involved.
Oh, you're doing all that too, sure.
But two people that live in the same house, you know, you're see eye to eye, and so.
Yeah, I think it's easier for us to quantify a nuisance than it is for the building department, because being in our CAD, we're gonna document whether it's founded, unfounded. So it's a little bit different than what buildings deal with that.
Yeah, that's exactly the input that we're kind of looking for as far as, you know, how many times is it showing up on the CAD, how many times?
I can take disorderly conduct, for instance, and, you know, we can search how many times we've been to a particular address for disorderly conduct or animal violations or, you know, any of the things that are listed. Right, I think from that element, it would be easy for us to kind of look at it. I can't speak to how it would be to include buildings. Sure, it doesn't part of.
And just with property maintenance, if someone calls and they know, oh, I called 2 more times, he's gonna get in trouble. You know, that's not how it's supposed to be doing.
Well, obviously, and then in a situation that would apply, the person that decides if it's a nuisance call would be you. So if you've gone to the same address 4 times in 1 year for the same thing, no matter how many times you told them, that's a nuisance. And
No,
I guess.
Because I think that's gonna get abused. It's gonna get abused quickly.
You mean a neighbor call?
Yeah, like
Well, that's exactly why you could then go, that's why I was explaining to us that it works on both aspects. So if a neighbor is abusing that, that is a situation that is also considered abusive. it works both ways, is what I'm saying. I think the one reason that the nuisance was looked at is because multiple times we hear you say that, you know, you go out, you tell them that this is what's going on, this is what the charge is, you take them to court, it's expensive, sometimes you can't find them, et cetera, like that. If it's in a nuisance-based law, it's not gonna necessarily go after, it's gonna go after the homeowner, whether it's the landlord or the person that's living there. And it's dog loose, it's the fourth, fifth time your dog is loose, okay, now we're recouping our money. Now it's $150 fine, however you want to structure the fee. Lakewood does it, but there's a tie to the rental inspection, and it doesn't have to be done that way. Obviously, you know if it's a nuisance or not. I mean,
I wonder if it wouldn't make more sense, because it is gonna be hard for them to track, because they don't have that system that you guys use. I wonder if we just have two, where we can have a criminal nuisance, that's more defined, so that would be criminal related, like using dog law stuff, and that's calling over the weekend. And then on his end, I feel like we should just tighten up the definition of nuisance, period. You know, the big ones have now is the lights shining in people's houses.
right.
And maybe we should tighten up what constitutes a nuisance. We can deal with the landscape lighting and that stuff. And as far as what we call repeated visit nuisances, maybe define having the ordinance directed more towards the police department.
Right.
So we look at two separate ordinances then?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe we get in there, Dave and I can look a little closer at. There's some stuff. I mean, obviously the rack stuff is a problem, so if we can tighten up a little bit about what is dragging a rat in to constitute a nuisance as opposed to just overload on the grass and trash.
Correct.
We could add lights in there as a nuisance, and Dave has some component that we can cite from the building code, and then these repeated call nuisances. So I would say revise some of his into a new section for the chief stuff. Maybe do it like that.
But just like the light thing, we're dealing with the light thing now. And it's only a nuisance to this one person and no one else.
But that's,
So that nuisance,
well, yeah, it can be a nuisance, I think. I think we should,
for one person, it's a nuisance.
sure, I think if we define that, you should have your light shine in your neighbor's house, and it's constitutes a nuisance. I think
And how are you going to,
Well, it's the same thing with our noise ordinance. If I'm listening, if somebody's music is up very, very loud, and it's clearly loud, and police officer compliant, says, I can loudly hear it from the front of the house. We don't have a decibel reader, but they know that it's, you know, it's oddly loud, it's a nuisance.
I think we can do it.
It's the same with lighting.
I think it has to be very clear because I see it being misused.
Well, then couldn't you also tie it back to, the notices you've issued to those houses, so you have something less subjective, and you could have something to say, I've been around the state and issue a notice rather than something for grass problems and things like that. If you show up to someone's house, it's a nuisance to one person because they think the grass is too tall, but you show up to the house and the grass isn't in violation of anything. So technically, it's not a nuisance.
It's not a nuisance, right?
But when it comes down to the building department issuing a notice to a resident or homeowner, then it's documented as a nuisance, and you track all the houses that you issue those notices to, and you can see how many per year are issued to the same house or the same.
Right.
Of course, the checking lighting is a nighttime issue, or it's not that active.
Really, the removing subject to the nuisance and how many.
And that's my comment too, it's a nighttime issue, we're not gonna send someone from the building department at 8 o'clock at night to see if the light in your house is too bright because your neighborhood is too bright.
No, but right now, chief, you're sending officers out, there was a place on Roberts Road that,
Yeah, we take the pictures and forward it down to
yeah,
the building department, and show what the light conditions were.
I think ultimately what I was just looking for is some ability to get some better teeth into consistently the same over and over and over again. Because it sends a message when things don't necessarily get done to the people that live next to them or around them. And it also sends a message to them to say that anything goes. And I'm not just saying this is, you know, this is just my perception. This is 250 complaints overall in the last 2 years that I've gotten on a multitude of items. And for what you're saying is, well, what's a nuisance to you may not be a nuisance to somebody else, you can apply that logic to every law in the book. But at some point, you have to say, lighting at a, if it's too bright, if it's not covered, and it's going everywhere, is obnoxious, and it's a nuisance. Or loud music at a certain decibel, at a certain time frame, is a nuisance. And I'll agree with Mike, if you're showing up to the same house over and over, or building again 4 or 5 times, at what point are you bleeding so much in cost of time and personnel that you don't recover? And the point of the K law is to recover some of those funds, so that you're not constantly spending amounts of money and time on this.
I'm not disagreeing with the thinking of it, I just think there's gotta be things that have to be looked at.
And you know, like the one light we talked about, I mean, that light is shining right in his house. That should, with a different bulb, never shines down.
Right.
So you have no teeth to make them stop, so this way you're just trying to encourage them to do what I think is probably.
But if you wanna fine them, who's fining them, like fining them,
Yeah, did you read the
police
ordinance?
department, are you writing tickets?
I think I'll throw it in I think we'll revise the nuisance, the building code nuisance related things, so we can address, really, the only we need to address is a little more about rats and rodents. And that lighting thing, those are the ones that seem to come up the most over, say, the last 18 months or so. And then we can take care of the chiefs for the users. I think.
Good luck on that.
Yeah.
Chief, I'd like you, I mean, if you can, you said with the ability to quantify some of these calls and everything.
Yes.
I'd like to see if you can, if you could provide us with some numbers. You know, what you consider to be nuisances, and then how many, how many of them are frequent flyers, so to speak, and give us some of that information. I think that would be very helpful. Do you think the lighting, Randy, real quick, the lighting, do you think that's a separate issue that needs to be taken up, or they can just tack it on with what we're already doing?
Well, I only brought it up because I was reading Dave's mind.
Yeah, I understand.
I'll sit down with Randy and go over,
I know you guys didn't mention it, but read Dave's mind.
see what we can come up with.
Because I know it was brought up in the last council meeting too.
I mean, obviously, with LED lighting, it's only going to continue to get.
What he has right now is shining right in the neighbor's yard. If it was out in, if it's out in Concord, then it would be much more difficult because the house is so much closer.
Any further questions or discussion? All right, item number 3, proposed amendment to ordinance 525.07, instructing official business. Randy sent out proposal, but we also wanted to hear again from Chief Warner in regards to what we're talking about here in regards to that, able to protecting first responders, police officers, and trying to do their work.
Yeah, I do like the idea of it. I think it's just determining what is a reasonable halo, reasonable view. Now, some cities have 15 feet, some have 5, 20 feet. I don't think the distance necessarily matters as much as just having something, in fact, where we can legally tell somebody they need to step back 10 feet or 5 steps or something that we're comfortable with. That would be the main focus of the discussion, would be the distance.
And of course, it's kind of subjective.
Right.
Each situation is unique.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're dealing with. And also, I know that Michigan, if it's a family member, whether you get members that are trying to check in on that kind of thing too, whether it's a hard thing.
Yeah, and I think everything would be handled on a case-by-case basis. I think if we're dealing with an injured juvenile and the parent that's trying to get in there, we're gonna handle that much differently than, somebody trying to get in and film, us making a physical arrest, so.
Right. So you read the proposal that Randy had sent out for adding letter B to that, including letter B, so the next one would be letter C then. We would say is per se an act of obstructing to ignore any warning from a public official to maintain a buffer zone of 15 feet from a police, fire, or emergency medical commission incident then under investigation by public official would be the wording added to that ordinance. So any further questions for Randy or?
I thought it was written by the fine being a part on there. The 15 feet is fine with me. The original state law was 14 is what they were proposing. I went with 21 simply because of the Tuller line, which is how quickly you can get from one spot to another before somebody can draw up. I mean, how fast that person can get across to hurt one of our first responders. So that's the only reason I went with that. 15 would be fine with me. You know, I don't know what the chief thinks.
In respects to, I know some people have some concerns with, you know, people are allowed certain things, and a lot of times that, you know, that's what I call public, reporters, so to speak. So in this respect, I think it's close enough that if somebody wanted to observe and record, it's still good. And I interfere with that media company too.
Further questions from other members of council?
So just kind of playing devil's advocate, if someone's more than 15 feet away from whatever you guys are doing, and they're causing scene or whatnot, they can't be charged with anything.
Well, they can still fall under the
obstruction.
sort of.
It's almost more an outward recognition that police and fire are doing a very important job. And when their attentions are being diverted to other places while they're doing that job, it's just an outward respectful thing to say, we're giving you the space and.
So, Mr. Kramer, I anticipate we'll have our next ordinance meeting.
Yeah, I'll fix the grant or I got the second BBC.
Yeah, right, we anticipate November 11th, so if you want to bring it in, we'll probably do it for that night day. That's good with everybody. Any further discussion on that? All right, we'd like to recognition of the public, or not looking for recognition of the public, presenting figures that all remarks will be directed to the chair. None involved personalities are limited to 3 minutes per person, 3 minutes total. During anyone wishing to address the committee. Seeing none, the committee is adjourned at 6:33 p.m. Good evening, I call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Today is October 14th, 2025. It's 6:45. All members of council are present from the administration. We have the police and fire chief, mayor, law director, chief building official, and finance director. We have one item on the agenda this evening, and that has to do with income taxes and specifically the set-aside amounts. We were all given printout in anticipation of this meeting from the finance director. So at this time, I'm going to turn this meeting over to finance director Chanel.
Thank you. Our income tax is our biggest source of revenue, and it comes in basically from two places. It would come in from Rita, and it would come in from the state of Ohio. Sometimes it comes in from the state of Ohio as an income tax because companies may be working in almost every city in the state, and instead of filing 16 little returns, while Rita and work all the little municipalities, they just file one with the state, and the state distributes the money. Rita, this year, we have been for all of the year until this morning, been between 5 to 7% down from last year. I'm not panicking, I budgeted lower. Today, with looking at the numbers, we're about 3.5% down. That's just Rita. But what it's telling me is that as of to this morning, when I got my new numbers, that October 25 is lower than 24 and is lower than 23. But again, we budgeted lower. We knew that there were some issues with some of the companies, whether they were moving, being bought out, or whatever may be the case. I cannot say that that will be the end of our surprises, but right now we're still very much comfortable with where we are. The reason that I asked if you would come to a meeting and listen to income tax story is because of the state of Ohio income tax. I provided a spreadsheet, kind of, a history of the state income taxes. Back in 2018, when they started it, we got $17,000. We normally hover between 3 and 350, 300,000, 350,000. In 2023, we got $1,048,000, but we had a refund back 730. Where did that put us? Back at 318. 24, 379. This year, through today, through the financial statement, we are at $929,000. I'm very uncomfortable saying that that number is going to remain there. I also know that November is the month where we traditionally get a check from the state. If it's traditionally the same amount, it would be $146,000. So we'd be over $1 million. I know that there are some estimated tax payments from a very large corporation in there. We won't know until a year from now when they file their tax returns whether or not they ask for that back. That has happened to us before. In 2023, somebody was more than $2 million. They asked for it back. I'm concerned that if we keep $700,000 of this amount, because it's a little more than what we normally get, if we keep it and plan on using it, that you could be very surprised next year when they file the tax return and ask for it back. Therefore, my recommendation is that we set aside $700,000, put half of it into the capital fund and half of it into the safety center fund. Should they file the tax return next year in September, June, whenever their filing date is, and ask for the money back, you would be a little more easily able to return it because you hadn't planned on spending it for a payroll or some such thing absorbed in the budget. Our capital funds are light. It's difficult buying vehicles for police, vehicles for fire, certainly a snowplow and service department. So my recommendation is $350,000 into safety center, $350,000 into capital.
I'm sure that you have questions. The companies are confidential. I'm not able to say who paid these, but I am able to say with certainty that they are, for the most part, estimated payments. Questions?
Anyone have any questions for the finance director?
I have a question, if I may. The $350,000 that would go to safety center, is there a line item in that fund that is going toward engineering, or is it going toward building, or is this a matter of moving money out of the general fund to decrease the general fund?
There are no line expenditures for anything in the capital because in order to come out of capital to be spent, they must come before you first. So therefore, at this point in time, there are no expenditure lines. You could say when you pull it out that it's for the down payment on the bricks. You could say whatever you would desire to say, but by putting it into that fund, it is not able to be spent without coming to you saying, they have money out of this account.
Start.
And if we put that money into the, safety center fund, and they come back and request refund, would it come from the safety center fund first or from the general?
It's really up to the dollar amount. Should they ask for $25,000, you don't want to absorb it. If they ask for $700,000, you probably couldn't absorb that out of the general fund, and you would have to reverse that set aside. So I would say you can decide whether or not you're taking it out of safety center or whether you would take it out of capital. These are your decisions. Once they get open, those are council specific. You decide on. So should we say, well, let's take it out of safety center instead of capital? Totally your fault. Totally. But I just can't tell you if we're keeping it. I mean, we're still sitting on that $2 million that they applied to Rita and said we want back. And we're waiting for Rita to go through and audit it. But, you know, that's a huge chunk of money. This isn't the same amount, but it's still a huge chunk of money when we're looking at spending versus maybe doing something with purpose.
Are there any other questions on this?
I'm sorry, you mean, what do you think the probability that they will come and ask for the money back? It's pretty high.
I think it's pretty high, truthfully, that a chunk of it will be, because companies normally have a pattern. You know, I can say, this company normally makes a profit and gives us $2,000 a year. Okay, fine, you know. But all of a sudden, one year they give you $700,000, I'm saying, yeah. I don't think they're good, they're maybe as well off as they thought, but because they don't want to be penalized, they paid it in. You know, if you don't pay, you get penalties should you get there. And one of the rules for making estimated payments is pay based on your financial statement. They may have a good financial statement, right? But I don't know if they're going to be at the end of the year.
There's not another fund that can't be hit. Because I hate giving it to that specific thing and then come back and say, oh, sorry, there's not like appropriate, we can't touch fund where it's a little bit, legal than safety center or legal than.
I don't have the ability to set it aside as a payable. I don't have the ability to set it aside in any other fashion at this point in time, only because they haven't asked for it back. The $2 million that was asked for back is now sitting as a payable, but originally it was income. And because of the timing, they were able to ask for it back in January, so when we were budgeting, we knew it was being asked back. This one's going to be long about this time, you know, July, September, that we won't see the money asked for until about that point in time.
Can we create like a refund contingency fund?
No, any special fund that I create, I have to ask the auditors, and that's not one that they would approve. I've tried a couple of different names, they all have to be blessed by the auditor's office. Believe it or not, we stay in what we do here, and no. a rainy day fund, a contingency fund, something that we have a name for is fine. But again, council, those 800 numbers are your funds that you give permission to pull money out or put money in, and therefore it just can't be treated as operating.
Any other questions regarding this? Is this something we need to move forward on?
Question. So based on what you just said, for instance, instead of splitting between those two funds, you could put it in a rainy day fund, correct?
You could, absolutely.
And that requires council approval.
Absolutely, and I would just ask you to change the one, ordinance.
Right.
Because I drafted it up with it in there, but you certainly can change the number.
I would be more in favor of doing that. I think correct me if I'm wrong, what Angela might be getting at is if we move it to the safety center fund, and it comes down to us having to take the money back out of the safety center fund, somewhere down the line, someone's going to be like, this council doesn't support the safety center, and they don't support our police and fire.
I think you can be the way that it is. And if people look at it, well, wait a minute, you have this money in here. But if we think that money is something else, it's really not.
And if you're more comfortable with, with your, put it rainy day, then you can call it,
And I'm just sorry, could you just succinctly, tell me why specifically you're recommending that it be moved from the general fund to decrease the general fund amount?
The general fund is looking for operational purposes, and when budgeting is done, or when asks are made to change budget or to spend money, everybody looks at your fund balance. And this is not a fund balance at this point in time that I'm comfortable telling you can spend.
It could also be looked at as it's union negotiation time that you are looking at that money, and police and fire unions are going to say, well, there's clearly enough money there, but if you lose money, for full transparency, the money's there, but we can fire, then look at it and say, well, there's really, you can simply say that there's not enough money there.
This was done based on the tax collection history. The tax collection history shows very clearly that we average about $375,000. All I'm asking is that you set aside what this one company paid. I cannot control when he paid it. I cannot control what year we get it. But unfortunately, estimated payments, and these are truly estimated payments for $700,000. He has the right to come back and say, I made a mistake, I'm not making that income, and ask for it back. So I'm asking that it just be reviewed and looked at it if it really was an estimated payment and not something that you can operate on.
Do we have to move this on to the agenda?
It's already on the agenda for today. My question would be to the moderator. Would you like to just, if we're going to agree, we're going to move this to the rainy day fund? I think it would be the consensus. Yes. So would you feel more comfortable removing it and then renumbering it with the correct fund number, or?
Well, you're just doing we're just doing legislation to reappropriate it then, right?
I'm doing legislation to do a transfer, and right now it's saying safety center and capital, because I can't just reallocate, I actually have to have council approved transfer.
So it has the proper.
I think you can move it forward on that.
I'll put it up, I'll put it on first reading, and then we can fix it, and.
You're talking about tonight.
I'm ready for tonight, so I'm always just put it on first reading, we can make the adjustments, and then
We can, yeah, I'll ask this.
Okay, I'll just pull the committee real quick. Councilman Gully would like to make changes to the rainy day fund. Councilwoman Schmidt, that's your vote as well. Okay, so that's unanimous. So that's what we'll do. We've run out of time for public comment. However, there will be time for public comment in the city council meeting, which is going to follow this meeting. So we have no miscellaneous, no pending matters either. So with that, I'm going to adjourn this Finance Committee meeting at 7 p.m.
Calling the council of the whole committee meeting for October 14th, 2025, to order at 7 p.m. All members of council are present. All members of the administration are present, except for our city engineer, Brian Lee. If there's anyone recording the meeting, courtesy to the public, will you please identify yourself or fellow attendees, know that they're being recorded. Seeing none, city legal is recording this meeting. Under legislation proposed, we have legislation number 101401, a resolution authorizing the mayor and director of finance to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Public Works Commission, state capital improvement and or local transportation improvement programs, and to execute contract as required and declare an emergency.
Thank you. We would be asking for $123,700 in grant money. We would be asking for $150,000 in a low interest loan, and then the match would be a local share. That's the end.
Any questions for finance director? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 101402, a resolution authorizing and directing the director of public safety or his duly authorized representative to proceed with the solicitation of bids through an online public auction in the city of East Lake for the sale of various items as listed below and declaring an emergency. Mr. Mayor?
These are just items that are surplus to the city and no longer needed.
Will be going on cut deals?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from that? Okay. From none, we'll move on to legislation number 101403, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with TC Construction Incorporated of Woodley Hills, Ohio, the lowest and best and most responsible bidder for the Walter Drive road repairs for a total amount of $35,532 and declaring an emergency. Commissioner?
Thank you. Service Department has tried to fix this road. I guess it's under pretty bad conditions right now. And we do have somebody that's willing to do it quite quickly before the weather turns, outside contractor, and it is TC Construction. We've got very good experience with them for a good $5,532. Again, the service department is trying to we're not able to do this large job.
Any questions from the finance director? All right. Okay, sorry. We'll move on to legislation number 101404. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Talix, the lowest and best and most responsible bidder for managed services on behalf of the city of East Lake for a monthly amount of $10,535 for a 3-year commitment period starting October 2025 and declaring an emergency. And then also, we also have 101405, which is a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Talix to update Microsoft Office versions for the city of East Lake at a government cost for a total amount of $39,600. If you'd like to address both of those issues?
Yes, Talix is formerly known as BPI.
Oh.
So BPI has our computer contract. BPI's contract expired. We would like to renew it with them for another 3 years. We have also, in discussions with them, learned that, although we knew it, it's just that we didn't address it, that the Microsoft Office version or the Microsoft product that we're running will no longer be supported. We have to go to Microsoft 365. Most all the other agencies that we're dealing with are sending us 365 products. It is cheapest for us to be able to purchase it, and it probably lasts 4 or 5 years. We don't know for certain, but we estimate it'll last 4 to 5 years. And the cost to purchase the Microsoft Office 365, which is going to change all of your emails, not the email address, but it's going to change everything, and you're going to have to learn how to do it unless you already have it in your office. And it's going to be a pain in the neck, but I'm sorry, we have to do it for $39,000. I don't wanna do it, but we have to do it. It's no longer gonna be supported. So those are the two issues. One is to continue our contract with CPI, who's now called Calix, for the next 3 years, and the other is to upgrade and pay for Microsoft Office 365.
Any questions for the finance director? Ms.
Is
Schmidt?
that including the phones? Because I know our phones.
No, the phones are not, don't run any use product. Well, I guess when they ship it to you, no, it's not connected to our phone system. How you get it on your phone, should you forward your email, is a whole different story.
Isn't BPM who does the phones here though?
No. They don't have the phone.
No.
CPI does the networks, the software, the hardware, the security, 24-hour monitoring of bad guys. I'm truly, I don't know how many of you know this, but they actually monitor the dark web, and if I get an email saying there's a password in a file on there, I notify you immediately to address it. So, I mean, they really are providing extra services more than just that phone call.
Those full safety radios?
Yeah, those two. They do offer.
Any other questions?
Rather than upgrading to Microsoft Office 365, we looked at like Open Office or Google Docs or everywhere less expensive options.
I have not looked at those less expensive options because for the most part, we are running a Microsoft Office. Yes, there's gonna be a learning curve in adjusting to the 365, but I would say all the agencies around us are running 365. I'm getting emails from the county that just drive me nuts because I can't open this and open that, and it's the 365 that's messing us up. So my preference is to stay with Microsoft Office and, just take the learning curve for the new Outlook.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Chanel. We'll move on to legislation number 101406, a resolution authorizing director, mayor, and director of finance to accept a donation on behalf of the city from Walmart Incorporated in a total amount of $2,500 for the Christmas program and Shop with the Top program to declare an emergency. Ms. Chanel?
That's it.
Any questions? All right, and then also legislation number 101407, resolution authorizing directing the mayor, director of finance to accept a donation on behalf of the city from Monreal Funeral Home for $800 for the Oktoberfest event, declaring an emergency. Again, which is a donation.
Where we are.
And then legislation number 101408, the resolution from the Director of Finance to advance funds, which said funds to be advanced from Fund 101 General Fund in the amount of listed into Fund 416 CRIP Fund, Fund 804 Capital Fund, and Fund 803 Safety Center Fund, and declaring an emergency. This was discussed in the Finance Committee meeting, and it will be placed on first reading tonight, with some adjustments to be made to the ordinance.
Yeah, well, listen though, so when we have it on for the next meeting, we'll just add the designation A at the end.
Okay. Any questions? All right. And then legislation number 101409, an ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lansing, Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, declaring an emergency. Commission bill.
You'll want that one on first reading as well, because it also changes the budget for the transfers.
Okay, so we'll put that on first reading. And legislation number 101410, a resolution authorizing directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Westtel for NG911 systems on behalf of the city of East Lake for a total of $163,500, as well as for system support and maintenance for a 5-year commitment for a total of $66,960, and declaring an emergency. Chanel? Chief?
Actually, Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mr. President. That is the next gen 911 upgrade for dispatch. Will be the kind of first step in allowing us to make that leap into providing the best service we can.
Are there any questions for the chief?
I do.
Michelle? I'm
It's
sorry.
okay, that's okay. So I did call the chief, but I feel like I like things kind of more on the record, so people know the plan. Because my concern was, if you listen to the next gen 911, with the county, they're requiring 2 dispatchers. So I just want to make sure that as you go down this avenue and we spend, if the county, the state holds us to that there's a plan, and then we're not spending, and then we're gonna be in places like, you can't do this. So you have a plan, and they just did that maybe you share it.
Yeah, so everyone knows the county committee submitted their plan to the state for the next gen system requiring 2 dispatchers 24/7. It was the only county in the state to put that mandate in, even though the state requirement allows rollover from 1 to 2 hours as long as you met all the other conditions. My plan had always been to have 2 dispatchers at all times. The way I see us doing that, should the county plan not change, there's still that possibility in the next 5 years that they change that, but we can utilize part-time personnel. We currently have 8 full-time dispatchers and budgeted for 9. I'm looking next year, and with the union contracts, I will address some of those issues. I'm looking at filling 2 part-time positions using the money that's already there for 1 full-time position. And that will put us at 10 dispatchers. And over the next 5 years, as the plan is finalized, we can look at, adding 1 or 2 more part-timers if we need to fill those gaps. But, there's a plan in place, and I don't think that it will require much more to make it come to fruition, should things stay the same in the future.
Any questions for the chief? All right. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I do. I noticed, I have a client here looking for a CUP approval tonight, and it's not on the docket. So I assume it'll have to go to the next one. It's not on tonight.
All right.
Sorry about you coming, but 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, correct, 28th. Maybe it's
I apologize for that.
During public portion, the date.
You guys want to wait on that? They want. Has it already been, I assume this has already been approved by planning.
What it is that they're going into, it was a daycare adult learning center before on Mullen. We have new owners, they're just taking over, and the reason why they get a CUP is because any kind of a learning center, school or something like that gets a CUP. So it's just, to me, a formality, but it had to go to planning and then back to council for approval for the CUP. The facility's all been checked out, it's always been operating that way for at least 10 years or more. Fire department's already been there. We have no issues with nothing.
Yeah, I can say, what they were asking is maybe if they had some questions, they could ask you now and save you the trip next time. I assume that's why you're asking.
I'm assuming planning signed off on this, correct?
Pardon?
Planning signed off on this without
Yeah.
any issues, correct? Yeah. They didn't have any problems.
I gotta apologize if I couldn't be here tonight. I guess I didn't look at the agenda close enough to see that it was not.
I mean, that's
They have a very detailed plan and planning, so I think it might be beneficial if during the public portion, you guys could talk about what your plans are, and then, you know, questions could be decided then, and then come next meeting, you technically just move it over down.
You want to wait? They'll do public section.
So it's just a labor proposal.
Thank you.
Try to save you another trip.
Don't need to put you on the spot.
Yeah, then if they have a detailed plan of the and all that, forward that on, if that's what they decide. All right, council as a whole committee meeting is adjourned at 7:16 p.m. On the regular council meeting, October 14th, 2025, order at 7:16 p.m. Mr. Costello, please use the pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katrina.
Here.
Mr. Gully.
Here.
Mr. Kraniak.
Here.
Mr. Schmidt. Here. Mr. Stelman. Here. Mr. Semick.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of October 14th, 2025?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Katrina.
Yes.
Mr. Gully.
Yes.
Mr. Kraniak.
Yes.
Mr. Stelman.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes. A motion to carry the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting of September 23rd, 2025?
So moved.
We have a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick. Mr. Katrina.
Yes.
Mr. Gully.
Yes.
Mr. Kraniak.
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt.
Yes.
Mr. Stelman.
Yes.
Mr. Semick.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes, the motion is carried. The minutes are approved. Our next scheduled council as a whole committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. with the regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council as a whole committee meeting. We don't have any motions. We'll move on to committee reports. Our first report is from the finance committee. Mr. Sinick.
Yes, we had a finance committee, it was, tonight, October 14th at 6:45. But we only had one thing on the agenda, it was the discussion of income tax issues, specifically, income tax that we received from the state, and it was regarding the set-aside amount, and we, accepted the amount that was suggested by the finance director. We did a modification as to the fund, specifically, what was going to go to the, safety center fund would go to the rainy day fund instead. So, other than that, well, the committee, moved it forward with that modification, so that's it.
Any questions for Councilman Cassutt? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to report from the ordinance committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had an ordinance committee meeting this evening at 6 p.m. We discussed 4 items. First item, the administration is updating their policy procedures manual, and we had their HR attorney present the initial report from that, and the council will take a look at that and we'll fine tune that over the next couple of months. Then we discussed e-bike gas-powered scooter ordinances, and right now, we think we're good on the ordinances, it's just a matter of education for the public, making them aware of what ordinances are. Then we discussed the nuisance properties, and we're going to be coming up with some ordinances in relation to that, and help the building department as well as the police department, defining nuisance and tracking those properties that are nuisance. The last item was a proposed amendment to the obstructing official business ordinance 525.07 that would add a 15-foot buffer for at a scene where there is EMT, fire, police conducting official business in some way to protect them, and that's in the works of the Port Council of their date. And with that, I have a question.
Any questions for Mr. Keller? All right. Seeing none, I don't believe we have any other meetings. We'll move on to recognition of the public. Floor is now open for recognition of the public. I remind speakers all remarks to be directed to the chair. Will not involve personalities. Limited to 3 minutes 30 minutes total. We don't have anyone signed up to speak. You'd like to address council, if you'd like to step forward. If I'd like to respond, if you could give your name and address to the record, please.
Yes, my name is Kiara Williams, my address is 4549 River Walk Road, Southeast Carolina, 441. I'm the owner of the Public Directed, and basically what we do is provide services to individuals with developmental disabilities and mental health disorders. Ages 4 to 17 is who we service, so that is on autism spectrum, Down syndrome, ADHD, and rest of that by definition is to give the parents or caregiver first. So what we've done is we face the learning house. We just have a group of kids that come in. They watch movies, they do arts and crafts, they play games. Sometimes we take them out into the community to the local parks, the library, science centers, anywhere we can go where, you know, they can have the same access to things that typical kids have access to. So what we want to use the space for this bigger space basically than what we're in right now, and we want to be able to help them get out. So that's why we're asking for you to do this process.
Is there any questions from council?
And you were saying that all the, caregivers are certified.
Yes, everybody's certified. We are certified from the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. Anyone has to have CPR training. They also have a registered behavior technician training, which is as well. CPR per se, there's a DSP training that they have to do as well. I don't just hire anybody. My son is autistic. We just all got into this, and I know how we need a break. So everybody's certified and trained to be able to provide the care they need to children. We also operate in smaller ratios, so there's not 5 kids to 1 person. Like there can be 2 kids to 1 person, and depending on the behavior concerns, they're usually 1-to-1 or 2-to-1.
Any other questions?
Is this like before and after school, or is it during the day as well? So it's during the day as well. We want to operate 8 to 8. Partially because some preschools only, like preschools, they start services at age 3, so they only go half a day. So my thought was for the parents was like, this will be looking at that, we work from 8 to 3. But you guys have to work over the child with other needs to be able to go.
Any other questions? Very good, thank you, Kelly, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address council? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to, will the clerk please read legislation number 101401?
The resolution authorizes the mayor and director of finance to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement and/or local transportation improvement programs and to execute contracts as required and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate reading to read in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Stalnick?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stalnick?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101402?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Safety or his duly authorized representative to proceed with the solicitation of bids through an online public auction in the city of Eastlake for the sale of various items as listed below and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate reading to read in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stalnick?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Summit?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kraniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Stalnick?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read read legislation number 101403.
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with TC Construction Inc. of Willoughby Hills, Ohio, the lowest and best and most responsible bidder for the Waldemere Drive Road repairs for a total amount of $35,532 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and reading of both? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101404?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Calix, the lowest and best and most responsible bidder for managed services on behalf of the city of Eastlake for a monthly amount of $10,535 for a 3-year commitment period starting October 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings of both? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Simic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman? Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
I agree.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Simic?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101405?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with Calix to update Microsoft Office versions of the city of Lake at government cost for a total amount of $39,600 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings of both?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
No.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. The motion is carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101406?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to accept a donation on behalf of the city from Walmart Inc. in a total amount of $2,500 for the Christmas program and Top of the Crop program and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings of both?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Kranek?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried. Legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101407?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to accept a donation on behalf of the city from Mondale Funeral Home for $800 for the city Oktoberfest event and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings and readings of both?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Semick?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mrs. Selman?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion carried. The legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101408?
A resolution authorizing the director of finance to advance funds from said fund to advance from Fund 101 General Fund in the amount as listed into Fund 416 CRIF Fund Fund 804 Capital Fund, and Fund 803 Safety Center Fund, and declaring an emergency.
So this is been placed on the first reading for slight modification. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101409?
An ordinance to reappropriate for the expenses of the city of Eastlake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2025, and ending December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
And this was also placed on first reading. Will the clerk please read legislation number 101410?
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into a contract with West Health for Energy 911 system on behalf of the city of Eastlake for a total of $163,500, as well as for system support and maintenance for a 5-year commitment for a total of $66,960, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring second reading and readings in full?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kusinek?
Yes.
Mrs. Kraft?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Yes. Mrs. Sonic? Mr. Myers?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Gully?
Yes.
Mr. Sonic?
Yes.
Mr. Kusinek?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic? Mr. Myers?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. We don't have any, legislation pending, don't have any unfinished business, we don't have any new business. Move on to our administrative reports. Our first report is from our mayor and safety director, Jim Longstreet.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, you're aware that our service director has retired. After the election, I will get with the incoming mayor and work on hiring one. The Lakeland Boulevard repaving project is gonna start sometime this month from the 91 bridge east to the Willoughby line. That should be done by the end of November. And also, the unions have expressed their intentions to start negotiations. With that, I'll move to questions.
Are there any questions for the mayor?
I just have one. How many people have left the service department in the last year? Do you know?
2, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3. Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Schmidt?
County Budget, can you repeat the Lakeland Boulevard repaving that you did off?
It's gonna start from the 91 bridge overpass, go east to the Willoughby line.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll move on to our fire chief, Frank McGinty.
Thank you, Mr. President. The fire department has nothing to report at this time, so thank you for questions.
Anyone have any questions for the chief? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our police chief, Michael Warner.
Thank you, Mr. President. And thank the council for approving the, Section 911 purchase force. Recently, I have made a conditional offer for a lateral transfer candidate. That will fill one of our 2 open vacancies, and we're gonna work on getting the second one filled as soon as we can as well. I just want to mention the touch of truck for that happened this weekend was a tremendous success. Fire department, service department, everybody that showed up for it. I think it's definitely something that should become an annual event for the city, my thoughts. Other than that, no questions.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, chief. We'll move on to our chief building official, Dave Menton.
I just want to let you know the 2 lots that the city just sold recently the one on Portland and the one on 351st. Both of them have, applications for new houses to go up already. So that didn't take very long to move them along. We still continue to get single home building, we're probably sitting on 6, 7 new ones right now. I don't know if anybody on Erie Road has gone by the Melcos, but they have added to their front landscaping now, they put up looks very nice. I think that's about it. And the nuisance thing that was brought up today, I'm definitely not against it. I just want to make sure we do it right. And, you know, if there's going to be fines, make sure the fines are where it's going to, hurt and stuff. But I want to make sure, that's all I'm trying to, just make sure we do it right. That's all. And that's all I have.
Any questions, Mr. Mendes?
The gentleman who came in and did a proposal for Erie Road, what happened? Has anything happened with that?
Well,
Go ahead.
he was, correct me if I'm wrong, so he was, I believe his rezoning request was rejected by the planning commission. Is that correct?
Okay.
No, with the plan to do the development,
It was a draw, but that's a fair percentage.
but it would have to go to council.
In the meantime, he has, I guess, proposed a new plan, at least loosely, the day where says he has a new plan. So the complication is, he ultimately should come to council regardless of what the planning does, whether they approve or disapprove, it comes to council. In the meantime, it sounds as though you wanted to massage his plan before he made it to you. So the question is in speaking with the president, should we just send him back to the planning commission for that approval, anticipating that the fact that most of you guys will do all this, what he probably wants planning input. The complicated part is he really doesn't need to submit a plan to get approval from the zoning, but it is a natural question that most people have, what do you plan on doing there? So he's kind of, to a certain degree, in limbo. The question was, is we technically have a planning committee, how do we merge that with one of our other committees? We put them on as council as a whole, and you guys could maybe take a vote in council as a whole, you want to go back to the planning commission, or.
I think we already sent it back to the planning, sent the email to.
Yeah, or we could just
Send
say,
it back to the planning.
But if he comes back and has the same idea, that parcel is what's in question.
Correct.
For him to go any further, he has to know that it can be rezoned and that council or whoever's on board, that yes, it's going to be, RMF instead of industrial, one.
So my question for you then is it's on industrial, on that M1 right now?
Yeah, it's industrial.
So if he chooses not to build housing, if he chooses not to ask for the rezoning, being that it's on M1, he's perfectly within his right to build a factory there, correct?
And anybody that would want to allow.
I don't know if he's the current owner yet or not, I mean,
I think he's looking to be right.
but yeah, you're absolutely right, sometimes that's not a tough conversation with the resident, that, you could have a light industrial strip there.
I'm not sure why it was never put into,
Residential?
yeah, I mean, that was done when that Garrett's Gulf was put in, why even that strip with where Bullseye Pool was put in, why that was not even.
I think it's fair that you have, as president, the ability to put anything in committee, I think it's also fair for you to say, rather go back to planning before I put it on our agenda.
Is he planning to come back to plan?
I think he'll do whatever he wants.
Okay. I think maybe that's a discussion too. I know you've had some residential planning and things like that, but we got some discussion that where they need to be made aware of that change. If it's changed, it's going to be residential. If it's not changed, you could potentially have a factory, a beach house, something like that.
It's been brought up.
Okay. Okay.
It's just, like I said, before you put more money into this, you want to know it's going to change. If not, he's going to walk.
I would also suggest if I could add, I know you sent the email to everybody on council, but going out to seeing Chief Wilson-Tanga's backyard and seeing where this proposal is and how close it is ridiculously close. Like, I mean,
They have a factory in his backyard.
and I think honestly, they did say they were okay with that. It would be more powerful for them to have something like that than these huge buildings that are all over. I mean, there were 6 neighbors there that day, so it's not I would just recommend reaching out to them and going there.
Well, I think a little bit of that is too, they're used to a vacant lot. But if he knows it can be changed, that's when you come back and then before planning or council could say, instead of 6 units, I only want you to put 3.
Oh, we want 50% setback.
And we want to put fencing and landscape.
Right. It was the amount and how high and how close everything was, that I think was.
The first step would be to agree to rezone the property or disagree to rezone the property. So this gentleman then present a plan and then he would come to planning, which ultimately is going to have to come to council.
Yeah, or the guy that owns it now, and then he knows that if he advertises it, it's just gonna be for industrial, that's it, or now he has an opportunity to sell someone else for residential.
So you want to put it back on the planning commission?
I still don't know why. It's gotta get rezoned one way or another.
It would ultimately, well, it should have come from right from planning to here already. He's changed what he wants to.
I don't think he had.
Well,
That was the email I received.
I thought if he hasn't changed anything, he just needs to get on the council's agenda. What started the conversation is he had said he was changing his plan, he had a new plan for us to submit, that's what slowed everything down. If that's not true, then just put him on, because he's entitled to be on for consideration by council for the reason. And again, he has nothing wants changed, and we'll just have to give him a council next.
Yeah, and again, just because if you vote to rezone, that doesn't mean ultimately that you have to approve this plan or not, so. All you're doing is
His
rezone.
plan will come back, his plan is going back to the planning commission. And when it comes to you, correct, you still can put it in the ordinance to planning committee if you want deliberation.
Correct.
So, we have time, and what I understood is to change the plan.
That was my understanding from the emails also.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any questions, Mr. Benson? All right, seeing none, we'll move to our finance director, Carolyn Chuzo.
Thank you. Finance will have an open position that we will be advertising for tomorrow. We'll start the ad. Our payroll officer is retiring as well. She will stay until Thanksgiving. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Mr. Chuzo? All right, seeing none, we'll move to our law director, Randy Clement.
Mr. President said no.
Oh, come on.
I'm kind of surprised. All right, any questions for, Mr. Clement?
Actually, not for, Mr. Clammer, I just wanted to circle back to something, Mr. Mayor said earlier. So we lost 2 or 3 service members this year and the service director. Do we do exit interviews or anything to try to figure out where a lot of people are leaving, what we do to make things better?
That's a great point, Mike. I was actually gonna ask that when they do policy manual, that's something that you could put in there. I think it's really important to have been interviewed as well. Find out why it's happening. But there wasn't 3 and then another one recently, it was 2 or 3.